Always remember that the preparations of your journey tomorrow starts today. In the lively city of Ekaya, where the streets buzzed with life and energy, two sisters lived together in a tiny apartment. Nandi, the older sister, was 24 years old, graceful and admired for her beauty. Zinle, her younger sister, was 20, determined and known for her quick mind and warm smile. Although the sisters loved each other deeply, their views of life could not have been more different. Nandi believed that happiness comes from finding someone who takes care of you, someone who could offer security and comfort. Why struggle? She often said, when you can find a good man who already has everything. Zinle, however, believed in independence. She had watched her mother, Gogo Tandi, raise them alone after their father passed away. Gogo Tandi always said, a woman must stand on her own feet. The world is uncertain, but your strength is always yours. These words had stayed with Zinle like a guiding star. One evening, as they prepared dinner, the topic of their future came up. Nandi, Zinle said, stirring a pot of soup, why don't you look for a job? You are talented with design. You could start sewing dresses for people or even open your own business someday. Nandi smiled, shaking her head. Why work so hard when I can find a man who will give me everything I need? All I want is to meet someone who can take care of me, love and comfort. That's my dream. Zinle sighed. And what happens if that man leaves? Or if things don't work out? Will you still be happy then? Nandi waved her sister off. Not everyone is like our mother's story. I'll find someone who loves me and will never let me go. The sisters didn't argue further, but their different views lingered like a quiet shadow in their home. One sunny Saturday, Nandi decided to attend a fancy event in the city center. She spent hours preparing, choosing her brightest dress and her most elegant shoes. This is my day, she said to herself, brushing her long braids. At the event, she caught the attention of a tall, handsome man named Themba. He was dressed in a sharp suit and had an air of confidence and attracted everyone in the room. Themba was a successful businessman known for his wealth and charm. He approached Nandi with a dazzling smile. Hello, beautiful. I don't think I've seen you here before. Nandi blushed. I'm Nandi. I live in Ekaya, not far from here. Themba was captivated by her beauty and her gentle way of speaking. They spent the evening talking, and by the end of the night, Themba offered to drive her home. When Nandi returned to the apartment, she was glowing. Zinle, she called out excitedly. I met someone amazing tonight. His name is Themba, and he's everything I've been looking for. Zinle looked up from her notebook where she was jotting down ideas for a new recipe. That's great, Nandi. But remember, it's not just about what a man has. It's about how he treats you and what you want for yourself. Oh, Zinle, Nandi said, brushing her off. You worry too much. While Nandi was caught up in her budding romance with Themba, Zinle was busy pursuing her own dreams. she worked at a small bakery during the day, learning everything she could about bread and customer service. At night, she attended business classes at the community center. Zinle's dream was to open her own bakery, a place where people could gather, enjoy delicious food, and share stories. She saved every penny she could, avoiding unnecessary expenses. One evening, her boss, Mrs. Molefi, called her aside. "Zinle," she said, "you are one of the hardest workers I've ever had. Tell me, what are you working so hard for?" Zinle smiled shyly. I want to open my own bakery someday. Mrs. Olefi, I know it will take time, but I'm determined. Mrs. Olefi nodded approvingly. "It won't be easy, but with your dedication, I believe you'll make it. Just don't forget to rest and take care of yourself along the way." Meanwhile, Nandi's relationship with Themba progressed quickly. Within a few months, Themba proposed to her with a sparkling diamond ring. Nandi was overjoyed and moved into his grand house in an upscale neighborhood. At first, everything seemed perfect. Themba showered her with gifts and took her to fancy restaurants. But soon, cracks began to show. "Nandi," Themba said one evening, "I don't want you working or seeing your friends too often. I will provide everything you need, so just focus on being my wife." Nandi felt uneasy, but agreed, thinking it was a small price to pay for a life of comfort. However, as time passed, Themba became more controlling. He monitored her phone calls, decided what she could wear, and even limited her visits to her little sister. One day, when Nandi mentioned wanting to visit her sister, Themba frowned. "Why do you want to see your sister? I'm your family now." Nandi's heart sank. She missed Zinle terribly, but felt trapped in the life she had once dreamed of. Back in the bustling streets of Ekaya, Zinle's hard work was starting to pay off. She had saved enough money to rent a small space for her bakery. She named it Zinle's Bread Basket. The bakery quickly became a favorite spot in the neighborhood. People loved her freshly baked bread, fluffy cakes, and warm smile. Zinle also hired 2 young women from the community, giving them an opportunity to learn and earn. One day, as Zinle was closing the shop, she saw a familiar figure standing at the door. It was Nandi. "Nandi!" Zinle exclaimed, rushing to hug her sister. "What are you doing here?" Tears welled up in Nandi's eyes. "Zinle, I need your help. Themba isn't the man I thought he was. I feel like a bird in a cage. I don't know what to do." Zinle held her sister close. "It's okay, Nandi. You are not alone. You can always start over, and I'll be here to help you." With Zinle's support, Nandi decided to leave Themba and move back to their small apartment. It was a difficult decision, but she felt a sense of relief she hadn't felt in months. At first, Nandi struggled. She had no job, no money, and no clear plan for the future. but Zinle encouraged her to think about what she loved. "You've always been good at designing clothes, Nandi," Zinle said one evening. "Why not start there?" With Zinle's help, Nandi began sewing simple dresses and selling them at local markets. Her designs quickly gained popularity and she started receiving custom orders. Over time, Nandi realized she didn't need someone else to define her happiness. She could create her own path, just like Zinle had. Months later, the sisters stood together at the grand opening of Nandi and Zinle's Creations, a new shop that combined Nandi clothing designs and Zinle baked goods. The community gathered to celebrate, cheering for the two sisters who had overcome so much. As they looked out at the crowd, Nandi turned to Zinle with a smile. "You were right, Zinle. Happiness isn't about finding someone to depend on. It's about finding yourself. And it's even better," Zinle added, "when you have someone to share the journey with." Together, the sisters proved that with determination, love, and support, anything was possible. This tale reminds us that true happiness comes from within. Depending on others for security may seem easy, but building your own path brings lasting joy and freedom. Whether you choose independence or partnership, it's important to stay true to yourself and support those who love you.